program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Just look at this vast expanse of wilderness just waiting to be explored under sunny African skies. We're going to be searching for leopards. This is Safari Live.
Ready. Standing by.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You are live, you are live.
Very good afternoon to all of you and welcome me. And this afternoon, Dave is on camera with me. And a special welcome to Hampton Oaks, Bartlett and Malibu, the 3 schools joining us this afternoon. I hope you kids are all super excited to go and explore the wilderness with us. And we're coming to you live from a place called Djuma Private Game Reserve, which is up in the top northeastern corner of South Africa. We're out here, it is 24 degrees centigrade, which I've forgotten what that is in Fahrenheit, 84 in Fahrenheit. So good. And for all of our viewers who are not part of the school drive, please still send through your questions on hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. We'll be taking and chatting to the kids first, because otherwise they have to go back to school and they miss out. But you can still get your questions answered in that way. Let us go off and explore. They say it's 29, Dave. The sun feels warmer. The winds is nice cool breeze. But the sun definitely still feels warm. So it's summer out here in South Africa. Well, in theory it's autumn, but basically we don't really have 4 seasons. We have winter, we have the rainy season and the dry season. And our rainy season is our hot time of year, and our dry season is our cold time of year. And this afternoon we are off in search of the royal family. Now the royal family consists of a female leopard called Karula and her 2 cubs, who are almost not really cubs anymore. They're 13 months old. They make their own kills sometimes, but we still love and adore them as much as we did when they were tiny cute balls of fluff. And that's our plan for the afternoon. We're going to go off in search of them and find out what they've been up to while we've been away. They were seen this morning, so I have a pretty good idea as to where at least the cubs are going to be. And after that, who knows? You can never plan out a live safari because it's live and it consists of viewing wild animals. So unexpected things can happen pretty much any time of the day. It's not just myself out here. There are several people waiting to say hello to you. One of them is Brent and Craig on camera. Let's go across to them.
Hello, Malibu, Bartlett and Hampton Oaks. Welcome on your video and school drive. And as you can see, it's beautiful green. Jamie's been telling you that it's the rainy season. My name is Brent. I've got Craig, whose nickname is Batman, on camera. So hopefully he can use some of those Batman skills to spot us some animals. Now, I heard there was a leopard around here somewhere earlier today. So we're just looking to see if we can see his paw prints in the ground and try to figure out maybe where he went. And it is a beautiful sunny day. Now, Geo is wondering who is faster, a leopard or a cheetah. Well, a cheetah is the fastest mammal on the planet. So a cheetah is faster. They can do up to about 110, 115 kilometers an hour. A leopard can only get up to just below 90. Okay, so this is where that leopard was seen, but he's probably sleeping in the shade somewhere. And I know Jamie's going to look for the other leopards. I might go look for some hippos, some crocodiles, if we don't see any sign of this leopard close by. Raymond is wondering, how do the leopards kill their prey? Well, Raymond, by jumping on them and normally by suffocating them. So they'll bite on their neck and their canines will sink into the muscles around the neck, and there's a specialized gap in their teeth that pinches closed their esophagus. So if you go like this and you feel your throat, and you feel those little bumps in your throat there, that's your esophagus. That's what you breathe through, for what you swallow through. And basically they close that. The leopard, so the impala can't breathe, and here's one of the leopard's favorite foods. So I think that leopard we're looking for is gone, because all the impala are looking quite relaxed. Hello, impalas. Now, these are the most numerous antelope in Africa, and can you believe they have been exactly the same for 1.6 million years? So they're one of the oldest antelope, and they are unchanged. And there's a little oxpecker sitting on its back. Now that oxpecker is looking for ticks and other parasites that might be in that impala's fur. There we go. Well, he's going to move off into the bush. So while he does that, Tayla's waiting to say hello, and she's got bigger animals to show you.
Look at this. We're on foot with zebra, with wildebeest, and there's even a couple of baboons hanging around. Isn't this absolutely fantastic? We're very lucky to be standing here. Now, my name is Tayla, and on camera with me is Brian, and then Aubrey is just lurking in the distance, making sure that we're safe and there are no buffalo or elephants trying to sneak up on us. Now, welcome again to all of the schools that have joined us this afternoon. We're very excited to have you here, and remember to ask lots and lots of questions. I have a good feeling that today we are going to see lots and lots of animals. See, look how the zebra have now bunched up. And it's not very often that you get so close to these animals on foot. You can get relatively close to them in the cars, but on foot we also look like a predator. So we look like something that would want to eat them. And also, sadly, for many, many generations, people have been hunting these animals, so they have a fear of us. And there's one very confused wildebeest, which is standing in the middle of the zebra, and I think he thinks he's a zebra. Some of you are wondering if I'm on an African savanna. Well, this is the area that we're in right now is known as a savanna. So the savanna biome, or the vegetation type, is a grassland. So like you can see here, all these big open plains, and then all the different trees that are in between them. So you've got marula trees, you've got silver cluster leaves, you've got bush willows, sennas, lots and lots of different trees here. And this is a favorite spot for an animal like a zebra and a wildebeest, because they eat grass. They're not really eating anything else. Sometimes in the drier months, the zebra, when there's no food, no more grass for them to eat, they'll resort to eating some leaves. But it's not very common, especially at this time of the year when they can eat their favorite food. But there's even a little foal. Look how tiny that little zebra is. That's only a few months old and not moving too far away from mom's side. You might not be able to see mom, is just off to the left. But this is so cool. Chloe, you're wondering what zebras eat. If you look very, very carefully, you can see a whole lot of it hanging out of their mouth. They don't have the best table manners, these animals, so they're feeding just on grass. And you'll often see zebra and wildebeest hanging around together. They have a very special relationship. So, wildebeest are very much like cows. They prefer to eat the shorter grasses. So what happens is that the zebra, who don't care about the type of grass that they eat or the length of grass, will come through and turn these taller grassland areas into shorter grasslands. And then the wildebeest can come through and eat the shorter grass, which they prefer afterwards. So it's a very nice relationship that they have. They're actually even coming a little bit closer towards us. And every now and then you'll see them pop their heads up and stare straight at us. And it just shows you that they're not afraid of us because they're not running away. Oh, look, a kudu. Did you hear that? That was a baboon. There's so much going on, hey, Brian? I don't know where to look anymore. But just before I get to your question, Damien, have a look at this antelope over there. We'll come back to the zebra. That is a kudu. That is a female kudu, and she's munching on some leaves. So unlike the zebra and the wildebeest, she'd prefer to eat leaves. But after winter, when there's nothing around, when the first rains come through, look, there she goes. She's running away. She's a bit scared of us. I think that baboon that alarmed chased her, well, sort of gave away our presence, and then she came running. But basically, they'll only eat the bits of nice green grass when we have a bit of rain. But now, she'll prefer to eat leaves. Now, Damien, you're wondering what is the difference between a horse and the zebra. There's actually not much difference. They're both in a family called the equus family. So you find donkeys, you find zebras, you find horses. They're all in that together. So there's not too much difference. So, but size-wise, they're not quite as big as a horse. I would say they're more like a pony, a very, very big pony. And also, you can see that they haven't got out their pajamas yet. Do you see that? They are very lazy animals. And I mean, in South Africa, it's just after 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and look at that. Either that, or they're deciding to go to bed a little bit early. I'm not sure. You'll have to decide on that one. But it is very nice, and it's very hot out here. So I'm glad we have a bit of a breeze. Oh, there's a zebra having a bit of a scratch. This is wonderful. Samantha, you're wondering if zebras like shade or sun, and at the moment you can see that they're standing out in the middle of the sun. They don't mind it too much. The animals out here are a lot more accustomed or used to the harsher, the hotter weather than what we as humans are. We tend to sweat a lot, so sometimes they'll go and stand in the shade. But for these animals, it's actually quite cool, especially that there's a nice breeze flowing about at the moment. And also by being out in the open and standing up, you get the breeze a lot better than if you were sitting down perhaps behind a shrub or something. You'll be very sheltered, and the animals rely on the wind to help keep them cool too. Now, Dominique, you're asking a very cool question, and thank you for all of the questions that are coming through. They are wonderful. But you were wondering, why do zebras have stripes? So there's many different theories as to why zebras have stripes, but I'll tell you my favorite one. And especially if you remember, just a moment ago, they were all bunched up together quite nicely. Did you see that it was almost impossible to tell which end was the front from the back? And that's what the idea behind the stripes is supposed to do, is it forms, or it dazzles the predators. So you call a group of zebra a dazzle, and as they group up, they'll keep the little ones at their sides, and becomes almost impossible for a predator, something like a lion, to make out one particular animal. And they'll run in a group like that, so it confuses them. But we're going to go and see what else we can find. Maybe we're going to find a baboon, but quickly off to Brent, who's got some elephants.
Well, yes, we've got a nice herd of elephants there, busy feeding through the bush on both sides of us at the moment. Hello, little one. There's an elephant that's about the same age as you. About, maybe a little bit younger, maybe 7, 8 years old. Oh, no, maybe 10, 11. Hey, little one. So, of course, this is the biggest mammal in the world. There is nothing bigger than an African elephant. Wait, Craig, I'm going to try and go around onto that little road there. I think there's some more in the water, in the little river. I just saw a tree going like this. I can hear it breaking. Here we go. Is he going to go have a big splish splash in the water? Hello, little bull. So there's a teenage male elephant there, coming up right in front of us. Hello, mister. And there's a little one going into the little river. And elephants love water. That's not enough water really for them to play in. Oh, here comes another teenage bull down the hill. So a nice big herd here. Maybe 25 elephants in total. Of course, with the thick bush, we can't always see all of them, but I can hear them crashing and dashing around. Hi, Samantha. Samantha would like to know, how long do elephants live? And Samantha, they can live to about 65 years old. So also one of the animals that lives for the longest. Hey, you. Don't get cheeky though. I can see you are after trouble. Hey, hey, hey. Behave yourself. Hey, hey. So I have to talk to elephants sometimes when they get a bit naughty. So he's just getting a little bit too close, so we don't want him to get too close. So I've just had a little chat to him saying he mustn't be a naughty elephant. Now at this age, young bulls often do that. Yes, behave yourself. I wasn't causing any trouble, I was just sitting here quietly. Now, Eli is wondering how fast elephants can move and how far they can move. Eli, well, they can move pretty quickly, faster than Usain Bolt. So they're faster than the fastest human being. And it's about around 45 to 50 kilometers an hour. Oh, here comes another one. Into that favorite crossing spot there. Off they come. Hello, guys. You're not going to be naughty elephants? Nah, you don't look like naughty elephants. That's a young female. And is that little boy? Yes, and a little boy. No, little girl. Sorry, Eli. So they can get up to about 45 k's an hour. And they can move massive distances, over 100 kilometers in a day. Okay, I'm going to move around to get into a better spot with them. Now there are some water holes close by here that they might start swimming in. Oh, Liam's asked such a cool question. He wants to know, why do elephants have such large ears? Well, Liam, that's because their ears are their air conditioning system. So that's their AC. They can pump up to 8 liters of blood, which is just under 2 gallons of blood into their ears, and when they flap it, it cools the blood, which cools down their whole body, and that enables them to be very active in the heat of the day like we are now, where we're over 80 degrees, and the elephants can keep going. You can see that one up ahead. There we go. You can see her flapping her ears, turning on the air conditioning, making sure she stays nice and cool. Oh, here we go. Oh, elephants everywhere. We're now surrounded by elephants. There we go. There's the naughty elephant. Hello, naughty. Are you gonna come try being naughty again? Now, of course. Oh, they might play in the mud. Jamie's wondering, how long does it take a baby elephant to become a teenager? There we go, there's the naughty elephant. He's not being naughty. He listened to me last time. Jamie, the same as it is for human beings. When an elephant turns 13, becomes a teenager. And you can see one that's been playing in the mud a bit. And a nice cooling down. That's another way if elephants cool down, is to play in the mud and water. Geo's wondering, could a full-grown elephant flip over a car? Well, a half-grown elephant could flip over a car, but you've got to be very careful. You've got to read their body language carefully, and that's how we control the situation. So as soon as I saw the elephant was misbehaving, I told him to stop it, and by just changing the tone of my voice, we managed to make sure he behaved. Hey guys, So it's always important when you're close to elephants to keep calm. And see, when I start the car, I let it run for a few seconds. Now, Makani's asked an interesting question, and it's a bit more of a complicated question. Makani says, can you ride an elephant? Well, Makani, you can ride an elephant. Whether you should ride an elephant is a very different story. So people do ride elephants, but it's not very nice for the elephants. So to make an elephant calm enough for a human being to ride it, you have to bully it. They use spikes to stab it behind the ears and hooks to hook it in the nose when it's baby. So they basically make elephants scared of human beings from a young age. And so that's how they do that. So yes, you can ride an elephant, but you should not ride an elephant. You should not go look at elephants in circuses. All those things are very, very bad. There's a tiny baby! Now I was hoping they might play in this mud wallow here. So elephants help to change the ecosystem. So when they see a bit of water like that and they decide to play in it and dig it out with their feet, it makes it bigger and bigger. So each year these little water holes can get bigger or smaller if the elephants don't visit them. So Idea is wondering, do elephants ever leave their mothers? The boys, yes, the boys leave when they're about 16, 17 years old. Sometimes they'll stay around a little bit longer, but normally the boys will leave at that age. The females will stay part of their natal herd or the greater natal herd, and so will stay with the family. The bulls, the big adult bulls, don't spend much time. There's the tiny baby to the left, Craig. There it is. Look how small he is. So that baby is probably only a couple of months old. Oh, excuse me. Well, Chloe is wondering, how much do baby... Sorry, Chloe. Elephants eat. And Chloe, they don't eat too much when they're little. They'll drink, but they'll drink about... Oof, upset with someone. That's elephants talking to elephants. But they'll drink quite a lot of milk. But when they're born, can you believe they're over 100 kilograms? Now I'm just trying to work that out into pounds for you. So over 200 pounds when they're born, a baby elephant. Well, Mahogany's asked an interesting question. Is an elephant prey, predator, or both? It actually falls in a different category altogether. It's almost neither. So some animals will prey on elephants when they are very young, but it's very unusual because of the very solid family structure for lions or hyenas to ever get a chance. And they eat trees and grass, so they are not predators, and they're not really prey to anything. The biggest threat to elephants is human beings, so they are prey to human beings. Okay, well, they have moved out of our Traverse area and are going to keep heading south. Makani is wondering, can elephants stomp on predators? Yes, they can, and they can do a lot worse. Not only can they stomp, they can pick them up with their trunk, they can throw them into the trees, they can use their tusks to stab them. So predators generally try avoid elephants. Whoa, look at that. Let's see, quickly. Can you see it, Craig? Hundreds of little toads that have hatched, hopping here. It looks like little grasshoppers, but it's little frogs, or little stream frogs. Don't want to stand on one. Oh, there's one out in the open. See him? Oh, don't run away, little guy. Here we go, isn't that cool? So with the rainy season, lots of frogs, and these babies have just, I would say, very recently stopped being tadpoles. But we're going to keep moving, see what else we can find. It seems like Jamie has managed to find a predator.
I have indeed, but I want you to see whether or not you can spot the animal in this image. Can you see her? You have to look closely when you're looking for leopards, because they are so incredibly well camouflaged, even when they are just lying out in the open like this. So well camouflaged that Dave and myself might have missed her the first time around. Although I suspect she was hiding under a bush, Dave, and then she came out into the open onto this termite mound. That must be it. So this, everybody, is one of the young leopards that I was telling you about earlier. Her name is Xongile, and she's just over 13 months old now. Her brother is probably somewhere here as well, but it's so thick in this area, the grass is so long, the vegetation is so dense that I don't know where he is. I'm sure he's here, I just don't know where. Now, Justin, you want to know who does more hunting, the male or the female leopard? Justin, they both do equal amounts of hunting. So when a leopard grows up, it is completely solitary unless it is a female with cubs, in which case actually probably she ends up doing more hunting than a male might because she has to share her food with her two cubs as well. So I guess you could say actually female probably does slightly more hunting just because she has to feed not only herself but the various litters of cubs that she has throughout her life. So but male leopards will hunt as well. And remember that actually there's no species out here, there's no predator out here where either the male or the female does more hunting. So in lions, both males and females hunt. The males have to be able to hunt, they have to be able to look after themselves when they're away from the females because they don't always spend time with the females. So male lions do hunt as well, probably just as much as the lionesses do. Now, Gabby, you want to know why do leopards have spots? And the answer is, Gabby, it works really, really well to camouflage them. And that might seem a little bit silly, but wait till you see a leopard walking through the grass or behind some trees in dappled sunlight. So in other words, sort of half shade and half sun. And you'll see what I mean about how easily a leopard can disappear. And when it climbs up into a tree that has thick leaves, you can barely see them at all sometimes. Oh, such a tired leopard cub. Eh? So just too hot to do anything, Xongile. I'll tell you something else interesting, Gabby, about leopard spots. Each and every single leopard has unique spots. So it's like a fingerprint, like a human being's fingerprint. Each and every leopard looks different. No two leopards will look exactly the same. So Xongile's spots will be the same throughout her life, but make her unique. Now, Xavier, you want to know what is a leopard's favorite prey? Well, funnily enough, some leopards do actually prefer to eat certain types of food, but a leopard is a consummate all-rounder. So if it's a leopard that's big enough to hunt something, it will. It doesn't necessarily have just a favorite food, but most of the time they eat different types of antelope. So a female leopard will usually eat things like a small duiker or a steenbok, which are a tiny type of antelope, right up to about an impala, which is quite a big antelope. And a male leopard can eat things slightly larger because a male leopard is twice the size of a female leopard. So they can hunt other types of bigger types of antelope. Our leopard is not doing much catching at the moment, but that's what leopards do at these temperatures. Luckily for you, Brent's got an aerial predator that has been busy.
Here we go. We've got the biggest aerial predator we get in this. Oh, there he goes. Well, it's got something in its talons. We were trying to figure out what it was. It's got a tail. Whatever was in that Marshall Eagle's. Maybe a mongoose. Always disappeared into some thickets there. Now that is a Marshall eagle, and they have absolutely massive wingspans, 2 meters. So its wings are as long as me, almost, or longer than me actually. But he's flown off now. Okay, let's go back onto the road. Whoop. Now, it looked like a mongoose. It looked too big to be maybe a dwarf mongoose. The tail looked a bit long. Could be a banded mongoose that it's caught. And I said we're going to try find some hippos today. So we're going to keep moving towards some other water holes. While we do that, let's go back to Tayla and her striped donkeys.
This is amazing. This is the closest that I've ever been to zebra, wild zebra, on foot before. Have a look, they're even walking towards us now. And we've done a little bit of shuffling around. And look at them, they're taking steps towards us. We've gone from being about maybe 80 meters, so maybe 85 yards away from the zebra, to almost half of that. And they are completely comfortable. And you can see there's one that's looking at us. Hello. Which is not a problem. They have to keep an eye out. Otherwise, if they don't look around and make sure that nothing is trying to sneak up on them, they will be the next meal for a lion. And they've got very, very good eyesight. So they know we're here, they can hear us, they can even smell us. It is perfect. And I actually just want to show you how relaxed that they are with us. Is have a look at that wildebeest who we saw just a moment ago. He's now sleeping. He's sat down. He's not even looking at us anymore. He feels so comfortable that we have his back. Gabby, now you're wondering if animals recognize us. That's a very good question, Gabby. Zebra, I'm not so sure, but as soon as you get to something like an elephant, I'm pretty certain that we as humans have all got different scents. We all sound differently, as you all know, and I think when you're interacting with these animals for such a long time, out here it's a bit difficult, but if you were in an area that was completely fenced off, so in other parts of South Africa you get game reserves that are small private areas where they've got a big fence, maybe 50 or 60,000 acres of land, and they've also got wild animals on them. Normally it's old farmlands that they're trying to rehabilitate and let the natural vegetation come through. They often do that, especially from where I'm from, the southeast coast of South Africa. And there you're seeing the same animals every single day. It's not like the Greater Kruger where we are at the moment, where these animals are able to go from the Sabi Sand all the way into the Kruger National Park, all the way to the border of Mozambique, and move around like that. Look, a zebra's having a roll. This is unbelievable. Like I said, they normally have got such good eyesight that they spot you from a distance away and run. Now, look at this, a lovely tender moment shared between two zebra over there. And little one is very, very curious as to what is going on. Now, EJ, you're wondering if zebras fight. Oh, yes, they do, EJ. They can actually be very, very aggressive, and especially the stallions, so the boy zebra. They will stand up on their back legs. They will chop with their front legs. They will kick with their hindquarters, and they have got a nasty bite on them too. So when the males fight, my goodness, they make a lot of noise, and it can be quite scary because they try and bite all the bits and pieces on a zebra, and you don't want that. Their very, very sharp teeth can definitely draw blood. I've been bitten by a zebra before. It was not fun. It's not part of my fond memories. I think I cried. I was young. I was maybe 13 years old, and I definitely cried when that zebra bit me. It left a big bruise and it made me bleed. I wasn't very happy, so don't touch a zebra. But that particular zebra was a zebra that had lost its mom on one of my friend's farms, and then they hand raised it and they released it again. But this little one, and it was also a foal that bit me. It was very, very cheeky. But this is so cool. I've never ever been this close to zebra before. I've never ever had a zebra roll around in the grass right next to me. This is amazing. Now, if you look at the zebras, we were talking about earlier if they are related to horses, and I said that they definitely were. And Alexa, you're wondering if we can ride horses. So this is one of the main differences between horses and, well, domestic horses and zebras, is that zebras don't have as strong of a back as a domestic horse has. They're used to carrying heavy weights. It's the same thing with donkeys, but out here their backs are a little bit more sensitive. Though there was a doctor, I think he was from Kenya, he used to ride a zebra to work and back, but I think that's an exception. You wouldn't be able, well, you could probably ride a zebra, but I think you'd have to be very light, and good luck if you'd like to try and domesticate a zebra. They are not fun, and if any of you ride horses, you'll know how cheeky ponies are and how they like to kick and bite you all the time. The zebras are 10 times worse. But did you see that? When one zebra sits down and rolls around in the grass, normally it's the more dominant zebra, and then the others will follow in its steps. This is really amazing. Just checking around me to make sure nobody else is sneaking about. Claire, you're wondering if zebras are vegetarians. They are indeed. They are herbivores, so they just eat plants. They don't eat any meat or anything along those lines. So when you're out in the bush, we as people can be vegetarians, but we refer to the animals that just eat the plants as herbivores. Then, if you eat plants and maybe some insects and a little bit of meat, you'd be called an omnivore. Then if you're a lion who loves to eat zebras and buffalo, you'd be called a carnivore. So those are the three words that we use to describe the feeding habits of these animals. Isn't that cool? Look, they're coming closer again. I know I keep saying that this is amazing, it's spectacular, but I've been working in the bush now for a couple of years, and this is the first time I've ever experienced anything like this. This will be one of the best sightings. It's going to be a very, very hard sighting to top. We're just watching them. And Yada, you're wondering if the stripes change as they get older? Well, let's have a look at that little zebra. Can you see its stripes are still very, very narrow, so they don't necessarily change. The pattern stays the same, but they do definitely get stretched out a little bit and get a bit wider as that zebra grows. It's like us, you sort of grow in your own skin, and so do the zebras. And what's really amazing about their stripes is that stripe, the pattern that they have on their bodies, is completely unique to just them. Now, look how the zebras have turned their heads. They're watching something. There's some more zebra. And they're going to walk right past Aubrey. Look at that. There's a whole nother herd. I don't know if they've seen Aubrey. He's sitting very quietly on a log. Oh, there we go. He was spotted. He trotted off. And hopefully they'll come and join this herd over here and then relax and sort of take off from their behavior. Because that's what animals do, is that they look at each other and they think, hang on, actually, no, don't even look at me. Look, they're going to come and meet each other. Samantha, you're wondering why they move their tails around so much. It's because of the flies. This is so cool. I think they're going to have a greeting ceremony. So unlike us as humans, we can use our hands to swat at all the insects. They can't do that. So that's why they've got long, wispy tails, so that they can swing them around and even get all of the flies that are on their backs underneath their stomachs. Look at this. Look at them all saying hello to each other. Oh, did you see that? Look at that big kick that one got. Come on, guys, settle down. This is lovely. And the poor wildebeest, I think, is feeling left out now because nobody went to say hello to him. Look at that. Look how playful they are. Oh, wow. Look at the big stallion on the left. See that big stallion on the left? He's watching us now, making sure we don't get too out of hand. And off they go. Oh, wow. See that? Now they're all playing around with each other. Obviously, this herd got a bit separated because the way that they greeted each other made me think that they must know each other. They must see that they're grooming each other. They're saying hello. And I didn't see a big stallion in that herd before. So I reckon that one that was standing off to the left, he had the big bold markings. Maybe he went to go and fetch the rest of the herd. Maybe they got a bit split up. Because sometimes what happens if they do get a fright, the first thing that they will do is they'll often stand and have a look around. And then after that they'll make the decision whether they're going to stay and fight whatever's in the distance, perhaps stalking them, or if they're going to run away. Normally they will run away. Most animals, if they can, they will run away. And they didn't do that. They came together. They said, oh, hello, I've missed you so much. You don't know how long they've been gone for. And that stallion as well, he'll have a favorite mare, so a favorite girl that he loves the best. And I definitely saw something like that in there. That is hands down the most incredible thing I've ever seen on foot. Forget the elephants, forget the leopards, forget the lions. To have an experience like that with one of the prettiest animals out in the African bush with the most exotic pattern is just fantastic. wow. That's all I have to say about this, is wow, wow, wow. Catherine, you're wondering if zebras play a lot. They do indeed. They've got wonderful personalities. Like us, if you watch animals for long enough, you'll realize that they have their own personalities and they're all a little bit different from each other. And some may like to play more than others. But you'll normally see the youngsters, the little ones, running around, chasing each other, kicking each other, play, biting. But it's often practice for when they get older, especially if they are boys. They need to practice fighting. And the girls, well, they're just having a good time, and it's good for strengthening the bond between each other. So like you go home, your mom may brush your hair, she'll give you a hug, she'll give you a big kiss, or you play with your brother or your sister. It's the same thing with the animals. They have all those things happening to them, but just in a zebra way. Wowee. Well, I think that's enough of those zebra. We're not going to push it anymore. That was so cool. Now, Cameron, this is a very, very tough question to ask. You've wondered, how do you tell the difference between a male and a female? It's very, very difficult. But if you know horses, you know that the stallions, the boys, they get big necks, big muscles on their shoulders, on their backs, on their bottoms, and they just look very muscly, like a bodybuilder almost. And the girls are a little bit more slender, a little bit prettier. That's one way you can tell the difference. But the other way, you have to look very carefully, is that if you look in the bum of a zebra, you'll see if they move their tails, the female has got a thick black stripe running underneath her bottom, and that's how you know if it's a girl. The stallions don't have that. Otherwise, it's very, very difficult, and you have to look very, very carefully. But the way that I do it is I look, and I see which one's got the prettiest coat, the shiniest coat, the darkest stripes, and the biggest muscles, and that's normally the boy. But we won't go and do another approach on them, because I think that was fantastic, and hopefully the next time that we come across the same zebra herd, they will give us the same sighting and be so calm with us. Isn't that really cool? But I know I haven't got much time with you left, and I'm sure you're dying to see those leopards again, so let's jump across into Jamie's vehicle.
I'm sure you must be dying to see these leopards again, so thank you to Tayla, who's been showing you stripy things. Now we're going to show you something spotty, who at the moment is practicing her yoga stretch by putting her leg over the back of her head. She's just making sure that she gets to all of those hard-to-reach places and gets rid of the ticks. Somebody's awake now, eh? I think you want to go and search for somewhere cool to lie, that you haven't warmed up the soil. Or maybe you're just rolling over that way. There you go, you can see she's fastidiously nibbling away at the fur of her tail to get rid of all of the ticks and anything that might be there, clambering through her fur and making her itchy. Very, very good question from Geo, who'd like to know, why is the stomach lighter of a leopard? The truth is, we don't really know for sure, except that it's the part that doesn't really get exposed to the prey when they're walking through an area, so it might actually help to cool them down if they're lying in the sun. So it helps to reflect, white helps to reflect light, so it might help to cool them down if they lie on their backs. We do know that white plays quite an important part in a leopard's visual communication, so that white stretches all the way to underneath the tip of her tail, and that's one of the ways that leopards use to communicate with each other. So by flicking their tail and moving their ears, you know how your cats and dogs do at home? And I'm sure your parents have taught you how to read the dog's or cat's body language. If their ears are back, it means they're cross. Well, there you go. That tail is highlighted by the flash of white. And a lot of the time when a leopard is spotted when they're moving through an area, they'll actually lift up their tail and flick it to let the other animals know that they're not really hunting, so they can all stop alarm calling and stop being so scared. It's kind of like raising a white flag and saying, okay, the game's up, I'll carry on looking elsewhere. But that's a very good question, because white shows up very clearly in the bush. Now, Zaadia, you want to know what animal camouflages the best? Well, leopards are pretty good where mammals are concerned, but the absolute masters of camouflage, yes, you are good. Yes, you're very well hidden and very beautiful. The masters of camouflage actually belong to the insect world, whether it is a flower mantid, which is a mantis that looks like a flower, a grass flower, or if it is perhaps a stick insect, which is an insect that looks like a stick, or any of the other amazing creatures that we often find only if we're really, really looking. There's even moths that look like the droppings of birds. How incredible is that? So the real masters of camouflage are the insects. And then reptiles as well. Reptiles are also pretty good at it. Like a chameleon, for example. Oh dear, it sounds as though you have to go back and enjoy the rest of your school day, and we have to say goodbye for now. I'm sure we'll be seeing you again shortly, but for now we'll have to say farewell. So thank you so much for joining us. I hope this has introduced you to a really, truly amazing world of wildlife. For the rest of you, we are going to send you over to Brent, and we're going to say goodbye to the school kids.
We've decided to go check Cheetah Plains. They haven't had any guests, so no one's been out on Cheetah Plains for 2 drives so far, so there could be all sorts of wonderful mysteries. And then on our way back, we're going to go see if Tundi's still there, and Tamba, and go down and have a look at that massive full Chitwa dam, and see if there's some fish eagle feeding on catfish, see what else is going on in that area. Okay, but I was hoping for some birds. I've been missing all the birds on the crest, and so far no luck with them. It's really thick here at the moment. But very beautiful. Remember, hashtag Safari Live if you want us to answer any of your questions. We'd love to hear from you. This world of ours. Very quiet in this area at the moment. Not even a steenbok. Well, if there was, we wouldn't see it. To be hidden in the long grass. Now, the lions are evading us at the moment, but that's not uncommon at this time of the year. The lions spread out, they follow the wildebeest and buffalo. So, unluckily for us, they've moved towards the north and to the east. Maybe we'll get lucky on Cheetah Plains with lions. No one's been down there, so worth a squiz. Okay, we're going to go through a gremlin grovel hollow just up ahead. So while we do that, let's go see how Miss McCurdy is faring on bushwalk.
Well, Brian and I are smiling from ear to ear, still, because of that experience that we've just had was absolutely exhilarating. I don't even know what to do, what to show you now after experiencing something like that. It's going to be quite tough, but we're actually just bumbling down the road at the moment, as you can see. And well, seeing as though we were looking at zebra, should we have a look at what their track looks like? I think we'll do all aspects of zebra today. So here you go. You can see it's very, very clear. You can actually see their footprints going all the way up the road. You see that big ones, small ones. But this is the hoof. Here's the outline. You can see how it goes in. Exactly like a horse track, and not very big feet. So you can see just here, look at the size of my hand. It's much smaller, and this is from an adult zebra. This is much smaller than that of a horse track. A horse track will probably be, let's add on, depends what size of a horse. Wait, come back here, piece of grass. Their track will probably come out a little bit more like that. A little bit bigger than that. So I'd say 1.5 times the size of a zebra. An adult zebra track would be the size of a horse. That would be an average size horse. I'm not talking about a 16-3 warm blood or Hanoverian or anything like that. Then they have massive, massive feet. You're looking at closer to the size of a buffalo's foot. Right, let's see the little bumble. Now, Deborah, you're wondering if female zebras share responsibility for raising the young. I haven't ever seen too much allo suckling going on between zebra before. So I don't think it's that common, but what I have seen a lot, and I'm sure most of you know this if you've had any dealings with horses, is that sometimes some certain mares make for very good surrogate mothers, and there are very few species that you can do this with, but the horses are one. So I'm not sure whether the same applies to zebra, and I'm sure it's specific to each individual. You can't just say no, they don't do that, because one day I promise you there'll be a case where there is an abandoned foal and by some miracle another zebra, maybe she conveniently just lost her foal, will take over that responsibility. That's what happens a lot with horses. So I don't think that something like that could not happen out here. I haven't seen it. I don't know if there's any recorded cases, but you can't ever, I think a behavior like that, you can't just cross off of the list and say that they won't do something like that. But that's also just my opinion. After working in the bush for such a long time, I've seen many books that have said animals do this, they don't do that, but then in the wild you watch them doing something completely different or doing what the book has said that they don't do. So I'm always very open-minded when it comes to behaviors like that. Sharing responsibilities though, you typically will see mom and foal sort of spending more time together, grooming each other, and then you might see the mares though grooming each other, but I haven't ever seen another mare grooming another mare's foal. That's not very, very common at all. But like I said, you just got to keep watching. Also, it's difficult to, when you're watching a big herd of zebra like that, to pinpoint and keep tabs on each female. Turin, you're wondering if zebra are a lot bigger than horses. No, not at all. They're about the size of a big pony. So if you know the sizes of horses and hands, I reckon that some of those zebras, maybe a stallion gets to just over 15 hands, so more like we'd say a honey, which is a horse cross pony, and then the females would be just slightly under that. So I reckon about 14.3 or so is the standard size of a zebra. They're not particularly big, so if you were to stand at one, you'd probably find that their back is about here. So sort of to my chest, so not massive, and so that's also, I haven't been up close to a fully grown zebra before, so I'm also not sure. I'm just trying to estimate from what we've seen on foot. And the vehicles, these animals look so small until you face them when you're on the ground. I can't tell you how much bigger they look, and especially a wildebeest. From a vehicle you think wildebeest small, and then when you walk near one, and especially the big bulls, you see how all that muscle in their shoulder and their neck. They are super powerful creatures, and I think if any of those zebra or wildebeest had to run at you, they would go straight over the top of you. Saying that, even an impala would knock you off your feet if it came at you quick enough. Now it's very thick here, so we just need to keep our eyes open. Hunter, you're wondering if their hooves crack open like horses? Most certainly. But the thing out here is that they get natural filing. So they don't need a farrier. From moving around on the different types of terrains, they're constantly filing their hooves down all the time. Remember, with horses, we put them into specific things. We put them into a paddock with just grass. Then they may come in, walk over a harder area, and then they go into the stable, which is filled with sawdust or rubber, whatever the type of stabling conditions you have. So there's not that much opportunity like a zebra to have that natural filing down on the different types of surfaces. You'll find some zebra might have problems with their feet. However, zebras like that won't make it very far in life. If there's any deformities in their feet, they're going to lag back at the end of the herd, especially if it causes lameness, and they will be taken out by a predator. But I have seen zebras before. I've seen one zebra with a big split down the middle of its hoof. I'm not sure what quite had happened there. Maybe it just had a weak wall, bad genetics, and those types of things get weeded out here in nature. Remember, we're interfering a lot now that we've domesticated horses. We have to look after them. We've done this to them. We now have to take on the responsibility of maintaining their health and as well as their hoof care. So that's it for the zebra. We're going to keep searching. There's some pans over here we're going to go and have a look at, but let's go back across to Jamie and the royal family.
Sounds as though Tayla's been having a lovely zebra sighting. I forgot what those animals were called. We are having a lovely leopard sighting. Dozy Xongile, the only one member of the royal family that I can actually see here. I know that Karula wandered off a little bit away from the cubs. I don't think she will have gone too far, although you never know with Karula. She has been known to go off hunting in the middle of the hottest days of the year. To connect the two, David, you want to know whether or not a leopard could take down an adult zebra? No. I'm trying to think if there's any circumstances, maybe if the zebra were injured in some way, perhaps a really big male leopard might chance it. You might find there are 1 or 2 recorded cases of that. Leopards do take zebra foals. That does happen relatively regularly. But zebras are not defenseless. They bite and they kick and they're very, very strong. So it would be a very unusual situation where a large male leopard, it would have to be a very large male leopard, and probably quite a desperate one, because it is quite dangerous for them to hunt something like that. Generally, things like wildebeest adults, even waterbuck adults, are quite large for leopards, although that does happen occasionally. But a zebra with its sharp teeth and its very sharp hooves have been known. I think somebody was telling me a story about a leopard that tried to hunt a zebra and got kicked in the head and was out cold, knocked out completely. I think it was Brent, actually, that told me the story. They all thought that the leopard was dead because the kick went straight to its skull. So it would be very, very unusual. I've seen zebra fighting off hyena. Apparently it was the campan male that was kicked in the head by the zebra. So it is quite a risky business. But you do get these extraordinary tales of adult male leopards, catching things like baby giraffe and baby buffalo. But those are relatively limited circumstances, and it'll always be a young one rather than a fully grown one. I remember what I was going to say. I've seen zebra fighting off hyena before, and the hyena managed to catch a zebra foal, and the zebra stallion was so brave in trying to chase away the hyena and chase it off the zebra foal. And that was, I think it was 4 hyena that it was trying to save it from. Leopards are phenomenally strong creatures, though, but that would be a little bit of a reach for even a big male leopard. You itchy today, my girl. She's been scratching and nibbling the whole time that we've been here. I think she's feeling the pepper ticks and the ticks as much as we are. Probably more so, because they can hide away in her thick fur. And with all of the rain that we've had, there's been a massive increase in all of the insect population, or arthropod population, including ticks. She's nibbling with her incisors. Oh, I suspect... I'm not sure. I'm going to go and see if that movement I saw earlier was Hosana. In the meantime, it sounds as though Brent has reconnected with an old friend of ours.
Here we go. Well, it's definitely not pinchy wino, but it is a terrestrial crab. Look at the size of that single pincer. It is massive. You definitely do not want to get your finger or your toe caught inside there. Now, I was thinking about it. I moved him off the road because they are quite hard to spot and someone might run over him. But I was thinking about releasing him down here. Craig? And of course we have Rollo from Biome. He's moving. So if the camera shakes, it's Rollo's fault. Oh, I think it can fit a toe in that pincer perfectly. No, of course, I'm only joking. Poor crab, you wouldn't want to touch their feet. Sus! So we're going to just let him go, but I thought you guys might like to see. You can see the difference in the size of the pincers, and that one will be used for holding stuff down to feed, this one for fighting and defense. Okay, little crab, you're quite a long way from water, but you obviously know what you're doing. I'm crossing the road here. Now, of course, lots of different birds. Whoa, whoa. No, I'm only joking. Lots of different birds will eat them. Now, I just want to see, where's a little stick? Before I let him go. I'm okay, yeah, Craig? So, you can just see.
Not now, yeah.
I want to see if we can show you the absolute power. Look at that. He's got a hold of that stick. He's not letting go. And you can see the little teeth that'll be used to crush anything that gets inside there. He doesn't want to let go of the stick, but this is also a nice way to release crabs so they can't take advantage of you letting go of them and bite them. So once he's got onto the stick, you let go, put him back on solid ground. Here we go. Bye bye, Mr. Crab. Now, there's a bird call going at the moment that has been driving me nuts because I haven't been able to put it on camera. It's one of the quails. And they've obviously come into this grass in the area when there's rain, and the only time we ever really see them is when we flush them while we're driving along. Hopefully I'll be able to spot one without flushing it to add to our bird list. Now, as I said, no one's been out on Cheetah Plains for a couple of days, so we're checking the northern boundary first, and of course we've got good chances of quarantine. And I haven't heard anything about the Torchwood Pride. They were just here, very close to the boundary. Have they crossed? I don't know. Well, let's see if we can hear from Shanae or Peter. Shanae. Peter. Silence. They might have gone further to the west, where once you go over that little sort of crest, the radios only work one side or the other. But of course, the nice thing about Cheetah Plains is the fantastic birds that are here at the moment, and I'm thinking we're going to get a few nice species. We've already got monotonous lark, so we're looking for rufous naped lark, we're looking for lesser grey shrike, ground hornbill, and something that we might not have ever seen before on Safari Live. We've had a few of those since the rain. Corncrake, red-knobbed coot, red-collared widowbird. So birding's been great at the moment. So let me just double check here. We are on how many bird species so far? I've got my list going here. List says we're on 35. So not too many to go. Only a bit more than half. No, I'm actually not too worried about getting to 100 birds. And especially with the rain sort of done me a favour. But I was chatting to Brian and I have decided the next time we're on a morning drive and the weather's right and it's all perfect, we're going to try for that mythical 50 birds and in one single morning drive. We've got close, so very close. It's 46 or 47, so we think we can do it. Sharon says, find us a flamingo. Oh, Jamie's already done that, Sharon. No, of course, as I said, I have seen flamingos in the Sabi Sands before. So they do, and after rain like we've had, it is possible that they might just randomly arrive. So it is possible. Fingers crossed, Sharon. If we are going to see one, I think it's probably going to be at the Chitwa Dam or at one of the other water holes. Be quite strange to see it standing out in the open grassland on Cheetah Plains. Now, also checking up in all the marula trees, because Nkanyeni and Quarantine like to sleep up in marula trees. Dina, well done! 200 birds on a live safari. That is very impressive, Dina. I think the red-knobbed coot must have been 200. We will go back to see, for those of you who missed the sunrise safari, to see if that red-knobbed coot is still at Chitwa. Okay, we're about to come out onto the open plains at the first set of open plains. I've renamed it. It is now, for me, it's called Corncrake Plain. James is wondering, do we still hear the classes cuckoo? I actually haven't, but this late rain could bring the cuckoos back. Oh, there's a dove we don't have on our list. Let's get him on quickly. A very pretty little fellow called an emerald spotted wood dove. And as we get closer to... Oh, look at him. What's he got there? So they're mostly seed eaters, but they will eat the odd insect. So as we get closer to the open areas, we can hear the monotonous larks already. Oh, what was that? Oh, bronze-winged courser. I didn't even see that next to the road. I was too busy looking at the dove. Okay. What wonders await? Apart from the monotonously calling monotonous larks. I also think we might even get lucky with a Cory bustard on Cheetah Plains this year with all the rain. Crowned lapwings. Okay, so we're going to keep checking very carefully. Who knows, we might find lions, we might find birds, we might find Mr. Q, we might find Nkanyeni or Vutomi. While we do that, let's go back to the cat in the hand with Jamie.
I'll have you know, it is not just one. Oh, never mind. He's gone again. How did he do that? I was going to say it was not just one but two, and we were going to do a magical reveal of Hosana, but I stopped watching and started watching my monitor, and now I've lost him. He was just here, I promise. He snuck out of nowhere. I have no idea where he came from. And I have no idea where he's gone. Now come on. Dave? He was walking towards his sister. Is that him lying in the grass there? Or is that a... It is him lying in the grass. Look at this. That's amazing. Before I get a bit closer and you risk losing him. No wonder we didn't see him. Okay, he wasn't there initially, otherwise we definitely would have spotted him. But it just goes to show, and this is actually relatively short grass at the moment. It just goes to show when they're lying down, they can be next to invisible. Dave, I think I'm going to stay here. There's some nice shade here. This is a relatively good vantage point, and they both seem to be slightly awake. Ah, there you go. Big stretch from Xongile, downward facing dog. And she's going to go say hello to her brother. In her usual affectionate way, by pouncing on him. Oof. A proper little affection shown there. Head rubbing. Aww. Some sibling love, and a really nice size comparison between the two of them. Look at that. Two leopards of exactly the same age. Male on the left, female on the right. What is going on? Something's upset the testiculars and the rollers. And Xongile keeps glancing in that direction. I was going to leave our leopards. Oh, I love you, bro, headbutt. I was going to leave our leopards, but I actually don't think I'm going to, Dave. I have a feeling, just a feeling, that it's time to stay with them. Are those birds alarm calling at your mummy? Is she coming back to fetch you? You certainly seem to hope so. I'm just going to go forward. I want to see what's upset these testiculars so much, and the rollers. It could be Karula. It's not impossible. I just don't want to get too close to Hosana. They've all gathered in this marula tree. You got hornbills. And then the testiculars you can actually hear. They might just be alarm calling at the leopards. Leopard, 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 leopard. But I heard a roller as well. Maybe a harrier hawk flew past or something like that. I'm not sure. But whatever it was is not immediately apparent. But we've still got a lovely view of Hosana. We'll move back to our shade in a bit, Dave. Let's enjoy the view we've got of him for now. I think I'm going to stick with the leopards for the rest of the drive. I wasn't planning to. I was going to do a quick loop, go and check the water holes and then come back. But since both of them have been active already this afternoon, I don't want to risk losing them or miss seeing something exciting from the two of them. Of course, now I've said that, they're both going to go to sleep. There's amazing difference in size between Hosana and Xongile. I still think Hosana's... I haven't seen Votomi in a while now. I haven't seen him in about a month, so he might have caught up. But I still felt as though Hosana is bigger than Votomi, who's quite a few months older than him, at least 3 months older than him. And yet you can really see the size difference. So it's not just that he's a male cub and then therefore bigger than his sister. He's actually going to be quite a big leopard. Aren't you, boy? Come on, you know you want to go play with your sister. You've been sleeping all day. You must be bored by now and ready to play. First he's got to give his giant feet a jolly good clean. So while we wait for our leopard cubs to decide what they plan on doing with their afternoon, I didn't quite catch what Tayla has, but let's go and find out.
We're looking at a knobthorn tree at the moment, but it's not the knobthorn tree that we're focusing on. It's what's crawling around on the knobthorn tree. So, Jamie, we actually have ants. Brent had crabs earlier. We've got ants. Have a look here. So these are drop-tailed ants, and they are moving around quite a bit. And I'm sure that they're trying to do their last bit of feeding for the day. Now, Brian and I were staring deeply at this knobthorn tree, and if anyone were to drive past, they probably would think that we were insane because of the way we were staring at them. We're trying to figure out what they're eating. Now, with this being a knobthorn, Acacia nigrescens, actually, yes, I think they must be going after sap. Look down here. Well, now they've stopped as I pointed at them. I think that they could be going for a bit of sap that is exuded, often from the acacia trees. However, I also haven't particularly noticed the knobthorn secreting much amber. But every now and then you see it. Or, is that a little aphid? Yeah, it looks like it. Look through there. Can you see those two? There's a tiny little black thing there. I think it's a little aphid. It's very hard to see. It's tiny, 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 but the ants are paying it a bit of attention. Now, often ants will protect trees like this from things like aphids, and it's often a very nice relationship that you have. Stay there, Brian. You've got an ant that has now jumped onto your mic pack. I'm going to take it off. Come here, Auntie. Go back to home. You can't come with us. We'll have to get it just now. Get off. Okay, I'll take it off just now. It's decided that the camera is delicious. But these are really fascinating creatures. Termites, ants, I really enjoy watching them. And it sounds really silly, but next time you have half an hour of your day to spend, go and look on a tree or go and find an ant mound or a termite mound somewhere and watch how these characters work. It is unbelievable. They do not stop. They move around, constantly searching for things to feed on. And they're living right at the base of this tree. So they must utilize it every single day. There are a couple that's very difficult to see them because the ground is so dark, but there's only a few of these drop-tailed ants moving around on the ground. Majority of the colony is actually moving up and down this tree. So they're definitely feeding on something here. What? It's a bit too small for me to be able to tell. I've been looking and watching them as they go about, and I haven't particularly seen them maybe taking any chunks out of the leaves. But they're also concentrated around the new buds that are just sprouting out of the knobthorn. So there's something there that they are absolutely enjoying at the moment. This is fascinating. I could sit and watch things like this all day long. Now, they don't have a specific feeding behavior, the drop-tailed ants. Most of the time, they just feed around, round and round and round until they find something, or they come into groups like this, as you can see, and will all feed on the same sort of tree. But there are lots of ants that have got various patterns, some amazing things, but we'll save that for another time. Just here, there's Aubrey. Let's see what else is around here. we haven't actually had much luck this afternoon. I think with all the rain that's out and about is all that rain that we've had, just checking to see if I can see anything jumping along on those WildEarthTV plants, is all the insects seem to have disappeared for the moment. I think they'll be back. I'm sure they're probably a bit traumatized after being splashed on. Not a lot of grasshoppers either, just a couple, which is unusual. I haven't even seen one elegant grasshopper today, which is very, very strange. But we'll see what else is here. It always amazes me how good Steph's eyesight is, because he'll talk, and then he'll walk and he'll go, and yeah, as if he snaps his fingers and then magically an insect just appears. Maybe he keeps them up his sleeves, and then as he does, oh, what's over there, he drops them on the plant. I'm just talking nonsense, of course Steph doesn't do that, but it always just amazes me how he manages to find these critters while he's trying to concentrate and talk. It's very, very difficult trying to multitask. So as we're looking here, there's often a lot of caterpillars, there are a lot of mantises on these plants, but nothing here. We've chosen the wrong road to walk on. Hang on. Aubrey's champion, he's spotted something. Ah, very cool. Look at this camouflage, seeing as though we've been talking about quite a bit of camouflage today. There's one of the short-horned grasshoppers sitting on a bush willow leaf. Look at that. Very, very nice. Now, something about grasshoppers which is really amazing is the way that they lay eggs. So most grasshoppers will bury their eggs underneath the ground. I'm actually trying to see if this is a male or a female. I'm going to just sneak in here very quickly. Don't jump. It's a female. Come and look why. I want to show you why it's a female. Can you see on the tip of her abdomen, can you see those little spikes? You see them there? They're very, very small. Sort of, it's very difficult. You have to use your imagination slightly. Here we go. That might be a bit of opportunity. So that is why it's a female. The male has got a smooth abdomen. It doesn't have those little spikes like this one does. And the reason why she has them is to help her actually probe her abdomen into the ground. So once she's mated with a male, and they're much bigger than the she's disappearing. Actually, come look at the shadow, Brian. This is quite a cool little shadow from this. Oh, nice. Never mind. She's changed her mind. She's come back out again. So basically, I'll be very quick. What they do with those little spines, and once they've mated, she'll stick that part of her abdomen into the ground, and then she'll actually start to turn, and almost like she's corkscrewing into the ground. And her abdomen can, well, elongate about 1.5 times the size that it is now, which is impressive. So eventually you'll find, if you look hard enough, you'll find grasshoppers with just their wings and their heads and their legs above the surface. The rest of her abdomen will be down below the ground. And typically she'll lay about 50 eggs or so, and then what happens is they form a frothy liquid which gets injected into the ground as she's laying those eggs, and it forms a case around them. So you have each individual egg but surrounded in one big egg case, and that hardens. Then for the first week they start to develop underneath the ground. After that they go dormant. So that's why we don't see very much through winter, because the season is not enough food, it's cold, it's not ideal conditions for an insect. So they go completely dormant. And then as you're coming into spring, as we're getting our first rains, as the flowers, as the grasses are starting to come back through again, they will complete their cycle and pop up as little nymphs, which is amazing. And then the whole thing starts again. I find their whole breeding habits quite fascinating. But they don't just lay that one egg sac. They can actually lay up to 3 or 4 of them. It just takes them a bit of time to regenerate, eat, regain their strength again. You can imagine, for any animal, or even for the insects, for anything you can think of, laying eggs, giving birth, it's extremely stressful, and it takes a lot out of the animals. It's the same thing with humans. You're exhausted, you're at your weakest point, and if she's lucky enough to lay one egg case, that's fantastic, but they can lay a couple of more. Right, Brent is still sitting with a bird. I'm sorry, Brent. I hope it doesn't fly away. Let's go take a look.
Here we go, another one for the list. Oh, and it's calling. Oh, isn't that pretty? Now, oh, he's still calling. Oh. Now there were a few more around on the other side of the waterhole a bit earlier. Maybe it's calling for some friends. It's a little wood sandpiper. Well, no one's answering him. Oh, it's alarm calling at a Wahlberg's eagle. That's what that call was. I was wondering, that's a very strange call. So it is a Wahlberg's eagle. We've got that one on our list, but we'll have a look at him anyway. It's going to be quite difficult, but it's sitting in that, on the right hand side of that leadwood tree there, Craig. The light is a bit difficult, so there we go. A little bit up. There's a pair of them there. Oh, doing a bit of aloe grooming. Now, Wahlbergs are well-known eaters of other birds, and one of their favorite things to hunt in certain areas is carmine bee eaters, specifically where they're big breeding colonies. The Wahlbergs will actually wait for them to come, as they come out of their breeding holes, they will be leapt upon. So I only saw the one fly and I didn't even realize there was a second already there. Oh, very cute. Now, I've heard another bird that we see quite often, but we haven't got on the list this time yet, calling just to the east of us. And let's see if it pops into view. Now, there's a reason I use the word pop. I wonder if you can figure out what bird I'm talking about, if it pops. Where do you think it is, Craig? Sounded like he was around here. Oof, this grass is so long we might not be able to see him through it. They do normally call from elevated positions though. No, come back. They're all gone. Oh no, on the road. Not the bird we're looking for, but the African pipit. Another nice little grassland species, a little LBJ, little brown job that we get here on Cheetah Plains. And let's see what else is here. I can't hear the popping now. Should be around here somewhere. No pop? Okay. I'm going to check quickly down towards the Kruger boundary. Carol is asking, do we get crowned cranes in the Sabi sand? No, we do not, Carol, unfortunately not. We used to get them in Zululand. Impala looks like he spotted something in Kruger. Oh, there's the pop, but I can't see where he's calling from. Impala suddenly just lifted his head. Those looking very alert. But we can hear some birds chirping on that. Impala relaxed down again. There's a noisy African pipit. Is it an African pipit? Yes, must be. Yeah, just being a noisy one. Let's have a see him. Talking. Ah, I can hear the pop again. It's behind us, but towards the east. I've got an idea. Bye-bye, little African pipit. Now there's always the chance we might see a pangolin. This is the only place we've seen a pangolin on Safari Live so far. Right in this far northeastern corner of Cheetah Plains. The grass is so long, we have to hope he's on the road. Okay, while we keep looking for the popping sound and a pangolin and whatever other birds we might come across down here in the northeastern corner of Cheetah Plains, let's go back to Hosana and Xongile, who are being quite loving.